You know what separates those who merely survive the day from those who win it? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not even discipline in the way most people imagine it. It's the way they approach the very first hour after they open their eyes. That's the launch pad. The first hour isn't just a routine. It's a statement of intent . When you wake up and immediately reach for your phone, what are you doing? You're not checking the time. You're surrendering your mind. You're letting the world tell you what matters before you've even decided what kind of person you're going to be today. The unstoppable don't allow their day to be hijacked before it begins. They begin with clarity, because clarity isn't found by chance. It's designed . There's a reason high performers across fields, from elite athletes to CEO to artists, have rituals, not because they are superstitious, but because they understand a core truth. The mind is most vulnerable and most programmable in those first waking moments. The neural circuits are fresh, uncluttered, and receptive. Whatever you place into them becomes the baseline for your internal narrative. Think about that. You've got this brief, sacred window where the noise of the world hasn't taken over yet. That's your opportunity to engineer the energy you'll carry all day. The mind in that state is like wet cement. Whatever you press into it will harden and define the shape of your day. So what do the unstoppable do? They create a deliberate launch. They wake up with purpose, not with purpose. That might look different for each person, but the principles are the same. Maybe it's 10 minutes of silence, no input, no scrolling, no noise, just sitting with yourself, listening to what your internal world is saying before the outside world drowns it out. That silence isn't passive, it's powerful. It gives you a chance to notice your thoughts before you're ruled by them. Or maybe it's movement, not a punishing workout, but intentional motion, stretching, walking, breathing. Why? Because movement signals to your nervous system that you're safe, that you're in control, and that you're ready. Motion regulates emotion. This isn't about fitness. It's about priming your physiology for clarity . Then there's intention setting. This isn't some vague law of attraction, a moment. It's a psychological alignment practice. When you deliberately set a focus for your day, even something simple like, today, I'm showing up with patience. Or today, I'm not negotiating with my goals. You're engaging your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for conscious action, long-term planning, and value-driven behavior. You're giving your mind a compass. Without that compass, you drift. And here's where the science and the philosophy intersect. What you do in that first hour creates a pattern, a psychological architecture, for everything that follows. If your first experience of the day is reactive, everything that comes after is filtered through reactivity. If your first experience is intentional, reflective, self-generated, you build momentum rooted in agency. And agency is the birthplace of power. Now, people hear this and think it has to be perfect. Like, if I don't do a 60-minute routine of meditation, cold plunges, journaling, and green juice, I've failed. That's not it. That's not the point. The goal isn't to stack habits to impress anyone. The goal is to send a message. To yourself . That you are not asleep to your own life . Even 5 minutes of stillness, even 1 moment of breath before you engage the world is a win, because what you're doing is drawing a line in the sand. You're saying, this day doesn't own me, I own it. And that's a radically different psychological posture than most people live with. Most people stumble into their day half-aware, already running behind, already trying to catch up to a life they haven't even chosen. But the unstoppable, they design it, not just once, every morning, every single day they reset, not because life is perfect, but because they understand The day doesn't care how you feel. The world will come at you either way, but how you meet it, that's your responsibility. And how you prepare to meet it begins with what you do in that opening hour. Let me tell you something. If you win your morning, you've already won the hardest part of the day. Not because everything else will be easy, but because you will be stronger. You will have chosen how to meet the world, instead of letting the world choose who you'll be. And the beautiful part, this isn't reserved for the elite, this is accessible. You don't need wealth, fame, or privilege to take 5 minutes to listen to yourself. You don't need a perfect life to choose intention over distraction. You just need willingness willingness to meet yourself before you meet the chaos. Willingness to pause before you push. Willingness to be deliberate, even in a world that rewards urgency and speed. That's the power of the first hour. It doesn't just set the tone, it sets the trajectory. And here's the truth most people miss: momentum isn't magical. It's built, it's engineered. It's earned moment by moment, habit by habit, beginning with the simplest of choices. What do you do with the first breath of your day? Because in the end, how you start is how you live. And if you can learn to start with clarity with focus with ownership then nothing the day throws at you can take that from you. The world doesn't get to write your story, you do, every morning. If there's one force quietly robbing people of their potential every single day, it's not failure, it's distraction. Not the loud, obvious kind, but the slow, drip erosion of attention that feels harmless in the moment. You open your phone just for a second, scroll through feeds without even thinking, bounce between apps, emails, headlines, and before you know it, your day's not being lived, it's being leaked . And that's the thing, the unstoppable, they understand that focus isn't a luxury, it's a weapon a skill. A boundary line between a life that's reactive and a life that's intentional. See, we've been taught to think of attention as something automatic, something we either have or we don't. But that's false. Attention is something you train . And just like muscles weaken without resistance, focus weakens when we let our minds be constantly pulled in 1,000 directions. That's the difference between ordinary effort and elite execution. The unstoppable don't just do more they protect more . They guard their minds with the same urgency you'd guard a lifeline, because that's what it is. You can't think deeply if you're interrupted every 5 minutes. You can't create, solve, lead, or grow in a state of constant mental fragmentation. And yet, that's what most people live in. The average person touches their phone over 0 times a day, not because they're weak, but because they haven't built a boundary between what matters and what doesn't. That's the cost of noise. It's not just time, it's identity, because whatever you give your attention to consistently, that's what you become. And if your days are filled with shallow inputs, you can't build deep output. Now, the unstoppable, they don't get rid of distractions entirely. That's not realistic. They design around them . They know that focus doesn't just happen, it has to be created. That means creating environments where the mind can breathe. That might look like putting the phone out of reach during your most creative hours. It might mean turning off every single notification that doesn't align with your long-term values. It might mean working in silence or with intention, instead of trying to multitask your way to productivity. Because let's be honest, multitasking is just a socially accepted form of distraction. There's this myth that if you're not doing everything at once, you're falling behind. But the truth is, the more you try to do at once, the less you're actually doing. Depth is where mastery lives. Depth is where fulfillment lives, and depth only happens when you shut the door to everything else. That's not being rigid, that's being free, because the freedom to choose your focus is the freedom to shape your future. Now, let's bring this into real life. Imagine starting your day with a clear mind, not already cluttered by noise. Imagine giving your attention to one thing at a time fully, completely, and actually finishing what you start. That's rare now, but that's what makes it powerful. The people who can sustain attention in a world designed to fracture it, those are the people who rise. Because, while everyone else is chasing dopamine hits, they're building discipline. And discipline compounds. The psychology here is simple but profound. Your brain rewires itself based on what you repeatedly focus on. If you train it to jump from one thing to another, that becomes its default. But if you train it to hold, to resist, to stay, you build what psychologists call attentional control. And attentional control is linked not only to performance, but to confidence, emotional regulation, and long-term success. Let that sink in. Your ability to focus affects not just what you do, but who you are, your relationships, your mindset, your self-worth, because a scattered mind doesn't just produce scattered work, it produces a scattered life. Now look, this isn't about living like a monk. You don't need to renounce every app or throw your phone in a river. But you do need to decide what earns your attention and what doesn't. Decide what time of day is sacred for deep work or for being fully present with someone you love. Decide that not every notification is urgent and not every voice deserves space in your mind. You don't owe your attention to the loudest thing. You owe it to the most meaningful thing. And maybe that's the real difference. Most people spend their days reacting to the urgent. The unstoppable spend their days responding to the important. That's a subtle but powerful distinction. Urgency pulls at you emotionally. Importance pulls at you purposefully. When you learn to silence the noise long enough to feel that difference, you start to live from a place of strength. That's what this habit is really about. It's not just about productivity, it's about power. Because in a world where everyone is chasing speed, presence becomes your advantage. In a culture where noise is constant, clarity becomes your superpower. And when you start living with clarity, something strange happens. You don't need as much time because your energy isn't being drained by constant redirection. You move with precision, you act with purpose, you feel lighter, not because life gets easier, but because you're not wasting energy on what doesn't matter. The truth is, the greatest threat to greatness isn't failure, it's distraction, it's noise disguised as value. Urgency disguised as importance, and the only way to win that battle is to become intentional with what you allow in mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. So the next time you reach for your phone out of habit, ask yourself, is this serving who I'm trying to become? A piece of me, you only have so much attention in a day. Spend it like it matters. Because it does. People love the idea of transformation. They crave the big moment, the breakthrough, the instant when everything changes. But the truth, the real, unromantic truth, is that transformation doesn't happen all at once. It doesn't come in a flash of lightning or an Instagram-worthy epiphany. It comes through micro-commitments, small, deliberate, repeatable actions that, when compounded, become identity. That's where the unstoppable distinguish themselves. They don't rely on bursts of inspiration. They don't wait to feel like it. They engineer their lives around systems, structures, rituals, and those rituals aren't massive. They're deceptively simple. It's not the grand gesture that makes them powerful. It's the consistency. 10 minutes of reading, 5 minutes of breathwork, 1 honest conversation a day, a commitment to not snooze the alarm. These aren't life-changing in isolation but repeated. They become who you are. Here's the part people overlook. Every time you follow through on a small promise to yourself, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. That's not just motivational fluff, that's neuroscience. You are wiring your brain to recognize that your actions align with your intentions. And over time, that alignment creates *trust*, and that's the real power *self-trust*. Most people are trapped in a cycle of doubt, not because they lack ambition, but because they've broken too many promises to themselves. They said they'd start the workout, they said they'd get up early, they said they'd cut out the noise. But each time they don't follow through, even in the smallest way, they chip away at the belief that they can change. That's why the unstoppable don't set themselves up to fail with impossible standards. They choose small, non-negotiable habits they can *win* consistently. Not because they're thinking small, but because they understand how momentum is actually built, one brick at a time. One action at a time. That consistency creates confidence, and that confidence creates *velocity*. There's this misconception that motivation fuels action. It's actually the other way around. Action fuels motivation. You take a small step, you feel a small win. That win releases dopamine, and dopamine motivates you to act again. You build momentum by doing, not by thinking about doing. That's the psychology of forward motion, but it's not just about movement, it's about meaningful movement. The unstoppable design their habits around the person they are becoming not the person they've been. That subtle shift changes everything. Instead of asking, "What do I feel like doing today?" they ask, "What would the strongest version of me do right now?" That question reframes the entire decision-making process. It removes the need for inspiration and replaces it with intention. And when life gets hard, and it always does, they don't crumble because their systems hold, their rituals anchor them. When you have small habits built into your day, your identity doesn't rely on motivation, it relies on rhythm. You become resilient not because you're superhuman, but because you've built a foundation that doesn't collapse under pressure. Even something as simple as making your bed every morning or drinking a glass of water before coffee may seem irrelevant. But these micro commitments send a signal: I'm the kind of person who follows through. That identity, repeated and reinforced, becomes stronger than your excuses. That's the difference between someone who says, "I'm trying to be disciplined," and someone who says, "This is just who I am." And here's the deeper truth. Micro commitments aren't just about productivity. They're about dignity. Because when you keep promises to yourself, you live with a quiet integrity that no one else has to see. But you feel it. You walk differently, you speak with more conviction, not because you're pretending to be confident, but because you've earned the right to trust your own voice. Now, of course, there will be days when you fall short. Days when the system breaks down, when you miss the mark. But the difference with the unstoppable is this: they don't use failure as an excuse to stop. They use it as a signal to recalibrate. They know that one broken habit doesn't mean a broken identity. What matters is that the next day they show up again. They don't chase perfection, they chase consistency because perfection is fragile, consistency is unbreakable. So if you want to change your life, stop waiting for the big moment, stop romanticizing the leap, start showing up for the reps. The boring, unsexy, repeated reps, because those reps shape your beliefs, they carve character, and eventually they build something unshakable, a mindset that can weather storms. One habit won't change your life overnight, but it can change your direction, and direction, when repeated long enough, becomes destiny. So, the next time you find yourself waiting for the perfect moment, ask a better question. What's one promise I can keep to myself today? Because it's not about doing everything, It's about doing the right thing repeatedly, and that's how the unstoppable win the day. There's a subtle mistake people make at the end of the day. They think their job is done. They've checked the boxes, survived the chaos, maybe even had a few wins, and then they mentally check out. They crash into their beds or their screens, letting the day dissolve without truly closing it . But the unstoppable don't collapse at the finish line. They evaluate they reset they prepare because the end of the day isn't just a period, it's a mirror. It reflects who you've been, and it quietly shapes who you'll become. Reflection isn't a luxury, it's a discipline. It's not about judgment, it's about awareness . And awareness, more than ambition or talent, is what creates meaningful change. The most powerful people don't always have the most perfect days, but they know how to learn from them. They take time to step outside the noise, even for a few minutes, and ask, where did I win today? Where did I drift? What patterns am I repeating? What am I avoiding? These aren't casual questions. These are questions that build self-honesty. And self-honesty is rare, because it's easy to point outward, to say the day got hijacked by someone else's demands, to blame the inbox, the traffic, the unexpected call. But the unstoppable have this unshakable habit of turning the mirror inward. They don't hide from their missteps, they investigate them, not to shame themselves, but to sharpen themselves. There's a kind of psychological maturity that comes from this process. You stop expecting the world to hand you perfect conditions, and instead you start building inner clarity. And from that clarity, something profound begins to emerge. Adjustment. That's the whole point of reflection. It's not nostalgia, it's not regret, it's realignment. Think about it, no pilot flies in a straight line. The flight path is constantly being adjusted. Course correction is a sign of a pilot who's awake. It's no different in life. The unstoppable don't aim for perfection, they aim for alignment. That means asking, again and again, am I still moving toward the life I say I want? If the answer is no, they don't spiral, they adjust. That ability to recalibrate daily is what keeps them in motion. It's what prevents drift from becoming detachment. And drift is dangerous not because it happens fast, but because it happens quietly. You skip one habit, then another. You let one lie slip by, then two. Before long, you're living out of sync with who you want to be. That's why this end of day ritual matters, because it creates course awareness before things go too far off track. Now, reflection isn't about dissecting every second of your day like a machine. It's not analysis paralysis. It's a moment of conscious review. It might be 5 minutes of journaling, a voice memo, a quiet walk where you mentally scan your choices. What matters is intent that you take ownership of the way you move through the day, that you don't just look at what you did, but how you did it. Did you speak with integrity? Did you choose courage in a moment where comfort was easier? Did you drift through the hours, or did you direct them? Those questions don't require perfection. They require presence, and presence is a habit, just like anything else. And here's something most people overlook. Reflection isn't just about seeing your flaws. It's about recognizing your growth . When you take time to look back, you start to see patterns, not just of failure, but of evolution. You realize, I handled that better than I would have last month. That conversation used to throw me off, but today I stayed grounded. That awareness reinforces your identity. It builds quiet confidence not the loud, performative kind, but the kind that's rooted in real data, real progress, real ownership. Then comes the reset. Once you've reviewed the day, you let it go. You don't carry the mistakes forward like baggage. You extract the lesson and release the weight, because tomorrow doesn't need your guilt. It needs your asterisk energy asterisk. And you can't be fully present for a new day if you're still entangled in yesterday's regrets. The reset is psychological hygiene. It clears the clutter so clarity can emerge again. And then, finally, you prepare, not with anxiety, not with pressure, but with asterisk intention asterisk. You write down tomorrow's top priority. You visualize one challenge and how you'll meet it. You remind yourself of who you're becoming. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be asterisk deliberate asterisk. Because the brain responds powerfully to preloaded intention. It doesn't need a blueprint for every detail. It needs a asterisk starting point asterisk. This habit, this nightly ritual of reflection, reset, and preparation, it's not glamorous. No one sees it. No one claps for it. But it's what separates those who asterisk hope asterisk to grow from those who asterisk do asterisk. It's what transforms a string of random days into a deliberate life. And if you've been drifting, if you've been stuck in cycles of reaction and regret, this is the doorway out. Not by doing more, but by asterisk becoming more aware asterisk. By slowing down just enough to ask, asterisk, am I living by default or by design? Asterisk, because the truth is, your day doesn't end when the clock strikes midnight. It ends when you asterisk learn from it asterisk. And that learning, that choice to reflect instead of react, that's where transformation lives. You want to be unstoppable. Then stop letting your day fade into noise, review it, reset from it, prepare for what's next, and do it again tomorrow. That's how you build a life that doesn't just look good from the outside, but feels powerful from the asterisk inside asterisk.